Rogue Logic. This is the way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Rogue Logic. I did want to only do my second edition of Magic Hat Sunday, which is, as my last one was, is kind of a more lighthearted and fun Sunday show that just deals with things that are not only not political, but hopefully not anything too serious. I do plan on doing that because I think that is important, but unfortunately, I also feel that I need to do a second video today, this one, because of the events of the last 72 hours. And I am referring to the horrific mass shooting in Allen, Texas. Now, what I find most disturbing about this is that when I did my last piece about basically what is it that we're all going to do, whether you are a very staunch supporter of the Second Amendment and you don't feel that anything should be done with our rights as far as, background checks, or if anything of that nature, or if you're on the complete other side where you think there needs to be a lot of gun banning and things of this nature too. So what my point was is that if you look at it statistically in the United States, that most Americans, something about 80%, and that's across the board of Republicans, Democrats, and Independents, do think that some type of legislation, bipartisan legislation, needs to be passed in order to help this epidemic of mass killings in the United States. And the reason that I really believe, we have to come together on this issue is because it just cannot continue like this. And this is what I want my main point to get across today is, in my last video concerning these types of incidents, I brought to light, I brought to everyone's attention a website that is called the Gun Violence Archive. Now, there's certainly bias here as far as, this is not a far left website, this is not a far right web. All it is stating the actual facts. And I didn't go into it fully last time because I was trying to make a point about the frequency of these incidents and how many of them just aren't reported at all because, they're just too many. And what's most troubling for me is that I went onto the website just a few minutes ago, and I hit, there's several search parameters you can use, and I just wanted to hit the last 72 hours so I could see the statistics about Allen, Texas. It took me 4 pages to go in to the archive. 4 pages of very long lists. I think each page, I'm just going to guess here, is something like 20 different shootings. So between that incident happening yesterday, today's the 7th, so that was the 6th. On May 6th, it goes to half of the 4th page. So I'm not going to do what I did last time. I don't want to, you can go to this website and you can see it for yourself. And I think that the way that this was shown on Twitter and has been shown, people seem to have a disagreement about, well, you shouldn't show these things because it's too violent or it's too much for people to handle. I would very much disagree with that, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, of course, this does not pertain to children who do not need to see images like that if they can be spared that, and perhaps they need to be shown that by their parents or a trusted guardian or whatever, in a way that that is appropriate for them. So, of course, this is speaking to adults. But when we don't see the reality of what happens here and what the real repercussions are, the last time that I spoke about this was many years ago, and I have not seen, not that I go looking for such things, but I have not seen the footage of it lately, and I know it's been widely banned and tried to, for reasons of the various platforms, legal reasons and things. But many years ago, there were a lot of beheadings of captured people, tourists, whoever it may be, and they were, public beheadings put onto the internet, filmed live, and the basis here was that these were Islamic extremists, and they were beheading people for various reasons. And it's the same, they were throwing homosexual people off of high rooftops and this sort of thing. So at the time, I did make a statement that I do think that we should see these things. I think that we should be aware of the reality of how dangerous and how volatile extremism can be, whether it be Islamic extremism, whether it be Christian national extremism, domestic terrorism. It doesn't. It just, the point being is, those images that were allowed to stay up on Twitter were horrific. So again, I would direct everyone who is an adult to look at them and understand what kind of massive amounts of damage and at such a speed that these weapons can do. So as a short aside here, because I always am trying to make sure that I don't want to be repetitive, but I also want to reach people who haven't seen some of my work before. I am not someone who is, although my ideas are progressive, I have never, ever thought that we should get rid of all guns or that the Second Amendment should be taken away. Nothing of that sort. I think reasonable ideas need to be presented by our Congress, our government, from both the people on the right and the left and the middle, to acknowledge and do something about this epidemic. Now, you can come from the viewpoint of being a constitutional purist in the sense that every word in there is the way it is, and that's exactly how it has to be. But there are problems with that. First of all, the Constitution, as well as the Declaration of Independence, this whole thing is written, this whole piece of work is written to have amendments. That is what the whole point is, that it is a metamorphosis of a document, that it can be amended as things change. And the Founding Fathers knew this. They knew that the world was not going to stay in that year. So the argument that the Second Amendment is untouchable in any manner, but all of the other ones are, it just, you either, you can't have it both ways. Okay, so it's one or the other. And lately, the First Amendment is by Christian nationalists and by very extreme far-right people are deciding that our separation of church and state, which is one of the most important and vital things that we have in this country, no establishment of any religion for the government, that is dangerous. And yet that doesn't seem to be bothering them, but the Second Amendment does. Now, first of all, I'm going to quickly say this because I've said it before. Logistically, there's no way we're going to lose all of our guns. It's just not going to happen. It couldn't happen. There's no way that the United States would ever be able, the government would be able to take all of your guns away. So I find that to be a very ridiculous point, because now we're going into complete dystopian fiction here. I mean, if we lost our government, if we lost our constitutional republic, our democracy, and it became something else, it became some dystopian authoritative regime, and it had the military behind it, then yes, you're not going to, I mean, it's sure it'd be better having guns than not, but if you had the full might of the U.S. military without any, all it was a scorched earth policy to take over, and they were willing to bomb and poison and all of its citizens, then the guns aren't going to matter. So I fully believe we have the right to protect ourselves. I am not a hunter. I don't have any desire to go hunting. I don't believe in it myself, but that's your right to have. And I'm always very, very careful so people understand that it's not just some far left liberal telling you I have guns of my own. So I think that they exist. I think we should know how to use them because they do exist. Just pretending they're not there is also very dangerous. But what's happening here is beyond dangerous. Now, I'm going to, I'll leave this running because I'm going to go right over my voice here with picture. So I want you to realize how bad this is so we can really understand what's happening here. Now, when I went back and looked and tried to find the incident in Allen, Texas about the 8 people killed at the shopping outlet and the gunman, I had to keep going back, and I'm not going to skip any of these to show you how horribly dangerous what's going on and just before I start, it doesn't mean taking anyone's guns. It means probably a combination of different things. Watching out for people's mental illness on social media. Family members and friends of people who know someone's having an issue. Stepping in, calling the right people. Maybe raising the age rate on what guns are available to what people. When you're a young person, sometimes you don't have the maturity to really, some do, but some don't, and overall, overwhelmingly, they don't. So there's a combination of things that can be done, and we don't have to be coming from two sides on this and fighting each other. Exactly. We can come together on this. Make it an issue that actually will get passed. Stop thinking about who's the president and whether you like him or not, who's going to be. Let's get this done, and let's stop losing American lives and any lives. All right, so I am going to go to the Gun Archive Index, and this is what was the issue, and this is why this is going to be monotonous. It is going to be a little bit monotonous, but it needs to, it really will help in showing another side of these things that is going on. And excuse me, I do not need to put up the very horrific images and video of the shooting in Allen, Texas. I urge adults to look at this and understand exactly what is happening all the time and the repercussions of it. But you've seen that. I will put links down below where you can go to see it. But I'm going a different route here, and I'm going to, okay, now it took me a while before I could even find the incident on here in Allen, Texas. So unfortunately, I have to use these.
Not getting any younger.
Yeah, I'm getting old. Thanks. Okay, so I went as far back as May 5th. Okay, so the first recorded one on May 6th, yesterday. Amarillo, Texas had one victim injured. Phoenix, Arizona, one victim injured. Then we go to Jackson, Mississippi, one person killed. Dallas, Texas, one person injured, one person killed. Still May 6th here. Little Rock, Arkansas, one person killed. Dallas, Texas, one person killed. Again, Dallas, Texas, different incident, May 6th, one person killed. And I'm sorry, that previous one had one suspect injured. All right, so just one quick note there. Moving on to Columbus, Ohio, May 6th, same day, 3 people injured. Then we go up to District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., one person injured. Chicago, Illinois, 2 people injured. Now, this is all May 6th. Chicago, Illinois, different incident, 1 person injured. Los Angeles, California, 1 person injured. San Antonio, Texas, 1 person injured. El Paso, Texas, 1 person injured. Let's see, San Antonio, Texas, 1 suspect injured. And then we get to Allen, Texas. Okay, now here's where the incident happened, and it is 7 people injured, 8 people killed, and 1 suspect killed. Now, I'm going to quickly, to make sure that we understand what's happening here, finish up until the 7th. So, then we go to Chicago, Illinois, 1 person injured. Next page. Michigan, Kalamazoo, Michigan, 2 people injured. I cannot pronounce this. Nacogdoches, Texas. I apologize if that's the wrong pronunciation. 1 person killed. Still May 6th. Indianapolis, Indiana, 1 person killed. Again, separate incident. Indianapolis, Indiana, 1 person injured. Glenwood City, Wisconsin, 1 person killed, 1 suspect killed. Let's see. Denham Springs, Louisiana, 1 person injured and suspect arrested. Saginaw, Michigan, 1 person injured. Chicago, Illinois, 1 person killed. Indianapolis, Indiana, 2 people killed. Different incident. Indianapolis, Indiana, 2 people killed. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 1 person killed. This is all May 6th. North Little Rock, Arkansas, 1 person killed. Columbus, Ohio, 1 person killed. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 1 person injured. Overland Park, Kansas, 3 people injured. St. Paul, Minnesota, 1 person killed. Rochester, New York, 1 person injured. The Bronx, New York, 1 person killed. Bronx, separate incident, 1 person killed. Let's see, Brooklyn, New York, still May 6th, 2 people injured. Corona, which is in Queens, New York, 1 person injured. Detroit, Michigan, 1 person killed, 2 people injured. Detroit, Michigan, different incident, 1 person injured. Detroit, Michigan, different incident, same day, 1 person injured. Columbus, Ohio, 1 person killed, 3 people injured, suspect killed. Page 2, not even getting up to May 7th yet. We are on May 6th still. Detroit, Michigan, 1 person injured. Aurora, Colorado, 1 person injured. Denver, Colorado, 1 person injured. Different incident. Denver, Colorado, 1 person injured. Chico, California, 5 people injured, 1 person killed. Memphis, Tennessee, 1 person injured. Portsmouth, Virginia, 1 person injured. Chicago, Illinois, 1 person injured. Let's see, Baltimore, Maryland, 1 person injured. Chicago, Illinois, 1 person injured. Baltimore, Maryland, 1 person killed. Also, different incident, May 6th, Baltimore, Maryland, 1 person injured. And we'll get back now to the first page. We're still on May 6th. Oakland, California, 1 person injured. Los Angeles, California, 1 person injured. Los Angeles, California, different incident, 1 person injured. Los Angeles, California, another incident, 1 person injured. Houston, Texas, 1 person injured. Houston, Texas, different incident, 3 people injured. Rochester, New York, 1 person injured. Brooklyn, New York, 1 person injured. Chicago, Illinois, 2 people injured. Houston, Texas, 1 person killed. Let's see, Chicago, Illinois, 1 person injured. Zephyr Hills, Florida, 3 people injured. Buffalo, New York, 2 people injured. May 6th, Hammond, Louisiana, 1 person killed, 1 suspect arrested. Chicago, okay, that's the last one. That gets us up to May 7th. So, again, obviously, I'm trying to make a point here, and I again would pretty much just hope that people can really think about that list that I just read off. And that was in one day, one single day. And I don't know right now, but I believe there have been something more than 120 mass shootings in the United States in 2023, and it is May 7th.
Completely horrific.
Yes, it is something that we all need to think about, whether you are a staunch believer in gun rights, whether you really have the idea that people shouldn't have their rights to firearms at all, which I do not agree with. And so I just wish people could start thinking about things without this duality that I talk about so often. Now, I'm going to cut that short. What I am going to do is put in the comments below links to the Twitter files. No, sorry, not that, not the Twitter files.
Don't get wrapped up in that.
Yes, no. I'm not getting involved in that nonsense. The posts on Twitter that are linked to these videos of the footage from the police officers' body cams, as well as the whatever footage there is of the dead suspect. And I will again put the Gun Archive website in the description below. And my final thought is this, everyone. Just let's come together on this. Let's be Americans first. And you know, when you have the people that are on the fringes saying utterly lunatic things, and I'm not going to name any of them today because I don't want to alienate anyone from this idea. Let's combine several concepts that will help all together. So it's not a matter of we're taking guns away or it's just mental health issues. There's a problem. There's a severe, horrific problem. Look at those videos and understand that that child in that video was alive that yesterday. I believe she was 5. If I'm a year or 2 off, you get the point. Her brains were splattered out on the sidewalk there. Their bodies were in a pile. The man in the pile had no jaw left. It had been blown off. These are horrific, awful images. And yet, yes, if we're going to understand the gravity of these things, something needs to be done. So with that, I hope everyone can have a peaceful weekend. Love your family and your friends and your pets. My thoughts, as much as that doesn't do anything, but I to all the people who've lost someone at all, I am so very sorry for you. It doesn't mean anything in the sense, but it's all that we can offer. That's why hopes and prayers. It's not enough, people. It's not enough. So be kind, always be kind to animals, and peace. Hey everyone again. Rather than do anything comedic at the end of this, I don't really find that appropriate. I thought what I would just say is a couple last words about, you know, we really do have more in common than we don't. And it's so troubling to me that for millennia we've been separated like this. And I'm not complaining about living in a free country, which we do, and I hope we continue to, but every type of government has been doing this since the beginning of time. The rich against the poor, the middle class against the upper class against, well, I said that, the rich against the poor against the middle class, races against races, religion against religion. There's always a duality here of this is how they split us up. And on this point, I cannot think of anything more important other than perhaps our, keeping separation of church and state, which is related to this issue, keeping that First Amendment and Second Amendment in a reasonable and logical manner. All right, people, just stop listening to these voices that pump you up and get you motivated, and sit back for a little while and just say, wow, does this make sense, what I'm condoning? That's all I can say for now. And I don't think any of us want to see people dying.
I don't want this to be our topic of discussion anymore.
No, I don't either. Peace, everybody.